India Today.
Now, one state which suddenly finds itself in the midst of a COVID crisis is Punjab. Sudden spike in the number of cases after over 390 pilgrims out of 3,500 who returned from Nanded in Maharashtra have tested positive for coronavirus. The test results of thousands of other pilgrims are awaited. Punjab is facing uncertain times. Take a look.
Sikh pilgrims returning from Maharashtra's Nanded have become a cause of alarm in Punjab. The first alert came when 4 men who drove pilgrims to Punjab and returned to Nanded tested positive.
तो लगभग 17 ड्राइवर थे, उसमें से पहले एक पॉजिटिव आया था और अभी कल के जो ग्रुप में 17 ड्राइवर थे उसमें से ये 3 ड्राइवर पॉजिटिव आए। तो अभी हम इनका कॉन्टैक्ट ट्रेसिंग कर रहे हैं। एक हिंगोली का है, एक हमारे नांदेड़ का है और एक लोहा का है। तो उनका हमने कॉन्टैक्ट ट्रेसिंग अभी कर रहे हैं।
Of the 3,500 pilgrims who returned to Punjab from Nanded, 577 persons have been tested, of whom over 350 were found infected with coronavirus. 80 buses had ferried pilgrims from Sri Hazur Sahib in Nanded on April 26th. On its way to Punjab, the buses had halted 30 kilometers ahead of Indore in Madhya Pradesh at a Gurudwara. It was an area which has been listed as a red zone. From Indore, the buses also entered another hotspot, Bhilwara in Rajasthan. The buses then reached Bhatinda in Punjab after a journey of about 30 hours. The pilgrims then dispersed for their homes across Punjab. Of over 350 pilgrims who tested positive, 195 are from Amritsar, 38 from Ludhiana, 19 from Mohali, 15 from Taran and 19 from Firozpur. With politics brewing around Nanded pilgrims, the Akal Takht claimed that there is a conspiracy to malign Sikhs.
ਅੱਜ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਅਸੀਂ ਦੇਖ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ ਲਗਾਤਾਰ ਹੀ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਹੈ ਉਹ ਅਸੀਂ ਸੁਣ ਵੀ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ ਕਿ ਇਉਂ ਪ੍ਰਚਾਰ ਹੋ ਰਿਹਾ ਜਿਵੇਂ ਤਖਤ ਸ੍ਰੀ ਹਜੂਰ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਕਰੋਨਾ ਵਾਇਰਸ ਦਾ ਘਰ ਹੋਵੇ ਤੇ ਉੱਥੋਂ ਇਹ ਲੋਕ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਆ ਉਹ ਕੈਰੀ ਕਰਕੇ ਲਿਆਏ ਹੁਣ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਵੰਡਣ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਇਹ ਬੜੀ ਵੱਡੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਹੈ ਇੱਕ ਸਾਜ਼ਿਸ਼ ਹੈ
While over 350 pilgrims and 4 drivers have tested positive, the results of thousands of others are still awaited. But who's to be blamed for the sudden spike in COVID cases in Punjab? Bureau Report, India Today.
And joining us now is the Punjab Chief Minister, Captain Amrinder Singh. I appreciate your joining us, Captain Singh, here on India Today. Punjab's cases showing a dramatic rise, corona cases, because more than 350 Nanded pilgrims, almost 400, who've come back to various parts of Punjab have now tested positive. They had gone on a pilgrimage to Maharashtra. They are now more than almost half of the confirmed coronavirus cases in your state. How do you explain what's gone wrong here?
I'll tell you what happened on that. There were 2 lots that came in. Four small cars about 3 days before came, which they'd hired locally, and these guys came into Punjab, went, because they are locals, they missed the main roads where the checkposts were, went down the link roads, got to Sursing, which was their village in Amritsar, and next day when we came to know, we tested them, 7 of them were positive. In the meantime, they must have passed this infection to their families and all. That was one. The second one was yesterday when they came. We did a test of, as you said, 105 were tested, out of which 7 were local people, and the other 98 were from Nanded. Today, I have just received the figures of the tests which were pending. 187 more have been added to this. Now, these are not only Nanded. You see, what happened was, Nanded was about 3,500. And the rest was suddenly from the people who were from Bhatinda and Fazilka, Firozpur, this area, who had gone across into Rajasthan to cut their mustard. 3,000 of them came back. So the figures went up to 7,200. 153 came from Kota who are doing courses there. So that the major infection is from Nanded. But we also got from that 3,000 who are the people who went to cut this.
But
so
Captain Singh,
how many are from where?
No, but Captain Singh, isn't that precisely the problem? Because as pilgrims, as students, as migrant workers from other states return to their homes, the numbers of COVID positive cases could increase. What kind of precautions, therefore, does one take now in this new lockdown?
No. Now what we have done, we have totally sealed the borders. Not a person is allowed to come in. Nobody is allowed to cross. I put police at every checkpoint. See, it's very easy for doing it in Himachal Pradesh. There are 4 or 5 roads going in. In my case, when you are joining Rajasthan and Haryana, people can just come across the fields. There's no checkpost, nothing. And that is what we've done. Now we put a complete check on the Haryana and Rajasthan borders so that at 100 yards you'll be able to spot a chap if he comes.
You know, it's very interesting. You actually extended the lockdown by 2 weeks in Punjab even before the Narendra Modi government announced the present extension of a lockdown. Is that because you fear that without a lockdown you cannot control corona?
Absolutely, absolutely. Let me tell you, Rajdeep, I mean, the way it is going globally and the way that people are dying by 70,000 in America and 20,000 in England and something else. I mean, this is something that let us be prepared for it. If we think that we've reached a peak, we haven't reached a peak. Now, when we are going to reach the peak, medical opinion differs. Some say July, some say August, some say September, but it's going to come and it's going to grow. But as far as these people coming from outside is concerned, we put a check. We will stop them. They will be tested. We are increasing our testing capacity. At the moment, it's 1,500. But I hope that by the 1st of June, we'll be about 8,500. Equipment is coming. Various things are coming. And we will do our checks and ensure only that the people who are negative are put in, sent home for home quarantine. And the positive ones straight go to isolation ward. They are already happening. Even these ones, which 187, which have the figures which have just been given, these are straight gone. They've gone into isolation.
The worry, Captain Singh, is that while you keep extending the lockdown, is there at all an exit strategy? Because the fear will be that the economy is not going to revive. People are going to lose jobs if this lockdown keeps getting extended. Is there an exit plan at all, or is the lockdown in itself a strategy?
No, not at all. Our lockdown is only to keep things under check. We have set up 2 committees. We had one committee was told to give a report in 10 days, I beg your pardon. And it had very eminent doctors, industrialists, administrators, all on it. And that report has come. And here it is, the exit strategy. It's exit strategy for COVID-19, lockdown restrictions. This is one which we wanted to. I'll tell you the reason for that was that people have been locked up for 38 days. And, we've had 22,000 FIRs registered against curfew violation. Now, what was that? That is youngsters who are sitting at home, who get fed up and they jump out of a window and climb out and go somewhere and the police catches them and charges them. But basically, it's stifling to sit in one room, the whole family for 40 days, you can't do anything, and people get, it's a psychological problem. And this is what the doctor suggested to us, that you must let them out for a little while. So what we've done now is allowing them out for 3 hours a day. They can go out and come back and go and do whatever shopping they want to do and all. So that little people have some movement. That is the first one. The second committee we have set up is under Mr. Monte Ahluwalia, which is a very high-powered committee. They are economists from all over our country and abroad, our people who are abroad in America or wherever. And he has formed 6 subgroups to tackle various topics which he's given them. And once they come out with their report, the final report will be given to us as to how we can restart Punjab's economy.
You're talking, Mr. Chief Minister, of restarting the economy, but do you concede at the moment that we are facing an economic emergency almost as much as a health emergency going forward, including for states like yours?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I have got no money. I mean, I'm owed GST for the last 4 months from Government of India. I haven't got any money from there. My other dues from Government of India have not come. They didn't allow me to. 6,200 crores was liquor, which they never allowed us to sell. There's nothing else which I could put any tax on. So how was I going to run? By next month I would have run. I wouldn't have been able to pay salaries.
You know, last week we spoke to your finance minister Manpreet Badal. He said all you've got, he claimed, Punjab has got 72 crore rupees specifically from the centre to fight COVID. The finance ministry is disputing the claims. They say adequate funds are being dispersed to fight COVID. What is the reality? Have you got the resources today to fight COVID or not?
I don't know what the finance minister mentioned, 72 crores. They may be our money, which is due under the disaster relief fund, which they give. That is, which is given to us every year, not because of COVID. It's something which comes to us for floods or for hail damage or whatever comes to crop. These sort of things it comes. Because I don't know the 72. And I don't know what the Ministry of Finance is saying in Government of India. As far as I'm concerned, we have received zilch from them, zero. And we have got nothing from them. Not only, now they have allowed me since yesterday that I can restart my sale of alcohol. That will bring me 6,200 crores in the year. But otherwise, there's nothing come from them. They've given us, they should have given us what they owe us. They are not giving us that. And then they're talking about 70 crores or something else, which I don't know what they're talking about.
Are you telling me today, Mr. Chief Minister, that by June 1st, you may not be able to pay government employees' salaries if the situation continues like this? Is that what you're claiming?
That's coming to that. It's coming to that. This time also, the last lot of salaries, we have class A, B, C, D. We gave C and D first, B came next, and A came last. I think we were paid salaries by the middle of the month.
There is also, Mr. Chief Minister, the wheat procurement season. You've written both to Prime Minister and the Minister, Mr. Paswan, suggesting there is a heavy and unjustified value cut that has been put on farmers. You want an immediate relaxation on norms on luster loss and shriveled grain of wheat. Do you fear that procurement of wheat is the problem, or is it the manner in which, again, center-state relations are playing out?
No, as far as the yields are concerned, no. We are expecting a crop of 180 lakh tons, out of which the marketable surplus will be 135 lakh tons. Now that is coming. As of today, here I've got the papers next to me, in fact. We have, as of yesterday evening, we have received 81 lakh tons, so we are going more than last year. And things are going on plan. But what they have done, they have made out something for shriveled grain. They have said you don't have luster in your grain, as if luster is going to make a big difference when it goes in your stomach. And similarly, they said there's some some grain, I don't know what they are calling, something like this. Anything, this is what the Food Corporation and the Food Ministry does all the time. I've been Agriculture Minister in 1984-85. This was the problem. I was Chief Minister for 5 years, from 2002 to 2007. This was the problem. And now this is the problem again. Every time they find some excuse to pay us less.
What is the biggest challenge, though, Captain Amrinder Singh, that you're facing going ahead? There's a question of lives, there's livelihoods. Where do you stand on this?
Well, lives, by God's grace, we will be able to prevent anything like that major happening. I mean, you remember the Spanish influenza of 1918-19, where they say between 20 and 50 million people died globally, and India lost more than 1 crore of people. I hope, by God's grace, that doesn't happen. But livelihood, yes. If you're going to cut people, not give them the money, then there are no jobs. I've got industry, for instance, I've got 252,000 industrial units in Punjab, and I've got 1.5% which are working today. Now we have got to get them moving again because of this COVID lockdown. It has to start off. In Ludhiana alone, I have 95,000 units, and not even 1,000 are working. So that's my industrial hub. So these are the things that's going to create the livelihood. At the moment, people are existing.
But do you agree with the strategy the Government of India has now adopted in this lockdown 3.0, the red, orange, green zones, or has it created a further bureaucratic maze? Has it been done in the right way, or is it still too controlled by Delhi as to, a bureaucrat in Home Ministry deciding what is red, green and orange? Is that the way to do it?
Does a chap sitting in Delhi know where Shatrana is? Does he know where Samana is or Naba where it is? These fellows are sitting there in the houses, in the ministries in Delhi and dictating terms. Do they know more about it, or do I know more about my own state? I mean, if they made Patiala a red zone, okay, Patiala city has COVID cases, and so does Rajpura. Make them red. But why is Naba red? Why is Shatrana red? Why is Samana red? They have no cases in them. They are different towns. So what does this fellow sitting there know about that the Patiala district or Samana district, or Ludhiana or Amritsar or Jalandhar more than me?
Are you saying that the chief ministers now need to be much more empowered in enforcing lockdown 3.8? Each chief minister possibly could be made part of a task force chaired by the Prime Minister?
I think so. I think we should be given the task. It's a state subject. I mean, the Himachal Chief Minister knows more about Himachal. Haryana Chief Minister, they are both their own party. They know more about their own states. How are you sticking us there? I've spent 50 years in politics in Punjab. I don't know my state. That some joint secretary sitting in the Ministry of Home knows more about it than I do.
No, but what would you do, Captain Amrinder Singh, that was different from if you were in Prime Minister Modi's place? Because let's be honest, the Prime Minister also has a very difficult job to do at the moment to balance lives and livelihoods.
I would say, you chief ministers, this is your state. You've been elected. You run those states. Whatever help you need from me, I'm there to give it to you.
Very important. You're giving us a news point. Empower the chief ministers, you're saying. Should there also be a common protocol then for the states, whether barber shops to be open, liquor shops to be open? Is it one size fits all, or each state should decide, given the circumstances, whether they want to open a particular sector or not? Should this be left, you're saying, to individual CMs?
I think so. I think you can't. Like Odisha has a tribal belt. I don't have a tribal belt. They have their own problems. The tribal belt requires, they need food, they need other things. I need jobs. I've got plenty of people producing food here, but I need other jobs. They have to do other things. So you can't compare Punjab with Odisha, or Punjab with Assam, or Punjab with Chhattisgarh or something. Every one of us have our own problems. And the chief minister is concerned there. They know their jobs better than somebody sitting in Delhi.
You have been in the army. What you are saying therefore today is each chief minister is to be treated as a brigade commander, with the Prime Minister as the general or field marshal. Am I correct?
Well, I don't think brigade commander is a bit low. I think make us army commanders and make him the chief.
Prime Minister Modi as the chief and each of you as an army commander. But overall, are you more optimistic today than you were when I spoke to you a month ago? Are you worried? Do you fear that we are in for a very long haul in this battle for COVID? We will go into several more lockdowns?
I hope I'm wrong, but I'm an optimist by nature. I'm not a pessimist ever. I've never been in my life. But I think here, the way the globe is moving, I'm not saying anything of what's happening in the country. It's of course going up now. Every day the figures are going up and up and up, and they say every 10 days it's going to double. I don't know whether these are, because nobody really knows. I don't think the doctors know. I don't think scientists know. I don't know anybody knows. But the way it's going in the world, in the West, in Canada, in America, in UK, in Europe, and all this sort of thing, I think it's going to spike yet. Now, when it's going to spike, some are saying July, some are saying August, some are saying September. I don't know when. But the curve won't flatten till that spike comes.
Let me ask you on a personal note, Captain, how are you keeping yourself busy during this lockdown?
Well, listening to all of you. And that's all we do. I have half a day of interacting with my deputy commissioners and officers and all here in Punjab to see how things are going, and my cabinet colleagues. And the other half of the day, I'm looking at you.
Chalo, we'll go along with that. Thank you very much, Captain Singh, for joining me here on the news today and speaking so clearly. You believe chief ministers now need to be empowered in enforcing the lockdown. Thank you very much, Captain.